You know that feeling that to really change your life, you have to do something huge, something totally overwhelming? Well, today, we're going to dig into a really cool idea from Michael Chapman's book, 50 Positive Habits, that completely flips that idea on its head. It turns out, real transformation might just come from the smallest changes you can imagine.
So the author, Michael Chapman, he doesn't start from some high and mighty place. He starts somewhere we can all kind of relate to. He talks about being stuck in this loop of negativity, where everything, and I mean everything, was seen through a negative lens. And it wasn't just in his head, it was actually pushing away the most important people in his life.
So how did he get out of it? Well, it wasn't some big, dramatic life makeover. No, the answer he found, and really the whole point of his book, is this philosophy he calls the art of marginal gains.
Okay, so what is the art of marginal gains? It's a pretty simple idea, but it's really powerful. It's all about forgetting these giant, scary leaps and instead focusing on the power of tiny, like 1% improvements that you make over and over again. It's an approach that makes changing your life feel manageable, not terrifying.
So this sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually put it into practice? Well, the book lays out a really simple and powerful framework that shows us exactly how to apply these little gains to our everyday lives.
Chapman breaks this all down into 3 key areas of your life. First up, you got your physical foundation. That's your body, your energy. Then there's your inner game, your mind, your emotions. And finally, your outer game, which is all about your lifestyle and how you get things done. So let's take a look at an example from each one.
All right, let's start with the physical foundation. The idea here is that before you can work on your mind, you've got to get your body on your side. I mean, trying to have a positive outlook is almost impossible when you're feeling physically wiped out or just blah.
And the habits we're talking about here, they're not like, go run a marathon tomorrow. A perfect example is this one. Just parking your car a little bit further away from where you're going. It might add, 2 or 3 minutes of walking to your day? That's literally it.
Now look at the difference this makes. Without this tiny habit, well, nothing changes, right? But with it, you don't just feel a bit fitter. Look at that. You feel less cluttered in the mind and better about your body. That small physical action creates this huge mental ripple effect. It's amazing.
And that leads us perfectly into the second arena, mastering your inner game. This is all about those small mental adjustments that can completely change how you see the world around you. A really great habit here is something Chapman calls detailing the positives. It's just a simple mental pivot. So when you're faced with a problem, instead of making a list of all the reasons it's a total disaster, you force yourself to immediately start looking for any potential bright sides or solutions.
And the impact of this tiny mental shift? It's huge. Without it, you stay stuck. You feel like a victim of circumstance. But when you make that switch, a disaster just becomes a problem. It's not an emotional meltdown anymore. It's just a puzzle to solve. It puts you back in the driver's seat.
Okay, and that brings us to our final arena, designing your outer game. This is all about tweaking your environment and your daily routines. Because, let's be honest, the way you structure your day has a massive impact on your state of mind. A fantastic example from the book is the habit of just simplifying your day. And this can be as basic as taking 5 minutes every single morning to organize your desk, clear away the clutter, before you even think about starting work.
And the effect is so clear. A messy space often leads to a messy, distracted mind. But by just doing this one simple thing, you create an environment that actually helps you concentrate. It leads to a much smoother, more focused quality of life.
So we've seen how these tiny gains can really add up in our physical, our inner, and our outer worlds. But when you look at all these possibilities, the big question is, where on earth do you even begin?
Now, the book itself lists 50 of these small positive habits. And I know what you might be thinking when you see that number. 50? That sounds a little overwhelming, like we're right back where we started.
But here's the most important part of this whole idea. The goal is absolutely not to tackle all 50 at once. In fact, trying to do that would completely miss the point of marginal gains.
The whole philosophy, the real art of it, it all boils down to this. Just start with one. Pick one small, almost laughably easy habit, and just focus on making that one thing stick. That's it. That single step is where real change starts. So, that brings us to the final and really the only question that matters. Looking at your physical foundation, your inner game, and your outer game, what's the one small habit you're going to start today?